Mom and Dad, I'm doing fine. You guys are on my mind. You asked me what I wanted to be, and now I think the answer is plain to see. I wanna be famous. I wanna live close to the sun. Oh, pack your bags, cause I've already won. Everything to prove, nothing in my way. I'll get there one day. Cause I wanna be famous. Na 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 na. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous.
Welcome to the Animation Block. I'm your host, Ryder Mitchell, with another installment into our big animation block stuff that we've been doing. This is our 10th one. What? Yeah, 10. We've been doing this. This is our 10th time doing an animation block. So that's a pretty big landmark, on my channel, Toys with Attitude, and even on the Big Bang Network, we have not made it to a 10th episode or 10th installment or 10th part to a big thing that we've been doing. So this is a pretty big deal. It's a lot of fun, and to celebrate in a way, we're going to just be talking about Marvel stuff today. Marvel animation, I'd say maybe a year and... Yeah, it was probably about a year ago on my channel, I talked about Marvel's animation universe, and how, the evolution process is kind of maybe slowed down a little bit. Last year, I think we were still in Avengers Assemble Season 1. It might have been the end of Season 1, beginning of Season 2, and I just wasn't that pleased with Avengers Assemble or Hulk and the Agents of Smash. I'm very into Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm a big fan of Ultimate Spider-Man. But, I went on this whole rant, I guess you could say. It was kind of a rant. And it was just, in 2008, we got Wolverine in the X-Men. And then we got, when was it, 2010? We got Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Two of the best, in my opinion, modern Marvel TV shows, or animated TV shows. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, those are really great shows. X-Men Evolution was pretty good, and even the classic X-Men and even the classic Avengers, United They Stand, those were pretty good shows too. But, Hulk and the Agents of Smash and then, Avengers Assemble just weren't doing it for me. Now, I stand in front of you today, or I'm talking in front of you today, and it's all about what has changed. Hulk and the Agents of Smash have been canceled, it seems. I don't even know if we got an official confirmation on that. It just stopped. After Season 2, it just stopped. And in a way, Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series, did replace it. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series, is somewhat limited. I don't think we're getting that big 22-episode season. They just confirmed a Season 2 for Guardians of the Galaxy, the animated series, and that will be debuting in 2017. Now, there's a couple things that kind of goes with, it would make sense because, the new Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 will be coming out in 2017, but the thing that I'm wondering about is, why is it gonna take them so long to make that, I wonder because everyone knows animation takes a long time, but usually, animated shows, they don't have to take, a year or two break to, get all that done. Usually they, let's say for, what's a good example of this? We could just use SpongeBob, okay? So SpongeBob. Let's say they do the animation for a SpongeBob special next year. Right? There's probably like 3 SpongeBob specials that might be coming out next year. They are doing the animation right now. Maybe there's a new Christmas special that comes out in 2016. They're doing it right now, but, I think there's a new SpongeBob, I don't know. There's a new SpongeBob coming up soon. I know for a fact. And then there's probably going to be another SpongeBob after that. What they do is, animation channels with animation and stuff, they get all of the animation done, all the drawing, all that stuff done, the basics, done, like a year or two in advance. before they announce something. So then they announce something, and it's like, oh wait, you only have to wait, 2 months. You only have to wait 3 weeks. You only have to wait, 4 days. And then they're like, well, everyone's like, whoa, I didn't know that was coming, because you never know it's coming. That's the best thing about animation. It just surprises you, because you never know. So I feel like it's interesting that Guardians of the Galaxy, they obviously have not gotten anything ready for Season 2. They might have some, story plots, or maybe they want to do this, but they obviously haven't gotten any of the art done, or maybe they have concept art, but it's not like final art, and so I feel like that's pretty interesting. Considering that, Guardians of the Galaxy is one of 3 of Marvel's animated series. I personally feel like Marvel needs more animated series. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. What we have on the table is we've got Avengers Assemble Season 3. We've got Ultimate Spider-Man Season 4. And then, of course, some Guardians of the Galaxy mixed with some Wolverine and future maybe X-Men spin-off series. So it's going to kind of be a combo of all that stuff. Not as much Guardians today, because I did already kind of talk about Guardians just now, but it's really, we're going to cover some X-Men, Avengers, and Spider-Man. So I guess we'll start right now with Avengers Assemble. So, like I said, about a year ago, towards the end of Season 1, I just wasn't that pleased with Avengers Assemble. Now, why? Well, it's not because I didn't like the show. It was because I felt like there's 2 things I didn't love about it. The first one was they canceled Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes. That show was just beautiful, So many characters, so many stories. The art was fun to look at. It was original. They didn't have to, base off anything. I mean, they did base off the comics, but it was a lot of original stuff too. And they were teasing some X-Men, and they were teasing some of like other smaller characters like Deathlock or maybe Sasquatch, and it was really fun. It was exciting to get pumped about it. Goliath, Puck. It was just a lot of fun. And then they cancel it. And then they release all that concept art of the X-Men. And you see Deathlock. And you have these alternate versions of Captain America. And why? But then they announced Avengers Assemble. I'm like, oh, wait. Okay, that makes sense. They canceled one for another. Then Avengers Assemble came out. And the team consisted of Iron Man, Cap, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Falcon. Now, the only original part from the movies of that is Falcon. I mean, of course, now Falcon is an Avenger, but not with that lineup. So, my point here is, they kind of made it boring for me, at least character-wise, because by the end of Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes, you had a huge team of Avengers. You had Yellow Jacket on there, you got Vision on there, you had the Fantastic Four, you had War Machine, you had Iron Fist, Power Man. You know what I'm talking about. You get it. So I felt like, okay, well, let's just see how it is. And honestly, I got excited with MODOK, and I got excited with Red Skull. I mean, I thought it was fine. It was fine. It wasn't like a disappointment at the beginning, but there just didn't seem to be an overall plot. And you guys know, or at least people who watch Toys with Attitude, my channel, I need a good structured plot with a good structured problem/villain to make it a good thing for me to watch, to enjoy. Now, of course, I enjoyed seeing some of the, a lot of what was going on in the Avengers, but in Assemble. But, the thing is, it just felt like the movies. And that's exactly what they were trying to do. That was my second problem with it. They wanted a show that could bounce back and forth from problems that are going on in the movies. Okay, I just saw Avengers, and that was, in 2012. I don't need to see it again in animated version with slightly different characters or slightly different plot. That's what bothered me a lot, It's like, okay, I understand you want, Marvel, you've got a cinematic universe, you're proud of it. But, why can't your animated universe be a little bit different? So that was my problem with that, and plus they were just bringing in some different characters like the Blood Brothers and Hyperion. Hyperion's a very cool character, and I'm a big fan of Hyperion. But it's not a lot of people know who that is. How are kids supposed to know? Oh, that's Hyperion, or those are the Blood Brothers, or you get what I'm saying. That's the Squadron Supreme. So I don't know. It's fine, but just little bit of a disappointment then. Then the finale came, and I actually really got into it. Why? Because Red Skull was defeated, basically, and then he went up to space. And who was he talking to? Thanos. And at that moment, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see this. And then first half of Season 2, just fair. Second half of Season 2, not bad. Having the Avengers kind of split apart and almost form some, like, what could be a civil war. So, now that we have that done, and we have this whole Ultron thing going on. I mean, of course, they did it with the Ultron, but the thing is, they did add Ant-Man, so that's pretty cool. I liked how they added Ant-Man. I like seeing Radioactive Man. I like seeing some of those other characters that I know. So, now, what we have is Season 3, which is now going to be retitled Avengers Ultron Revolution. It's no longer going to be called Avengers Assemble. It will now be titled Avengers Ultron Revolution. Their suits will be slightly different, and the lineup will definitely now consist of Ant-Man. Here's the fun thing. There are a bunch of new characters coming. This is awesome. Now, who are these characters? Well, first off, we've got Black Panther. Yes, Black Panther, once again. I mean, Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes had Black Panther. Black Panther is such a cool character, but let me tell you why he's going to be in the show. It's not because Marvel's like, all right, fine, let's be creative. It's more like, hey, Civil War is going to be using the Black Panther. Now we can finally bring him to our library. That's the only reason. It's because Black Panther will be in Civil War. I gotta tell you, if Black Panther was not going to be in any movie coming up soon, he most likely wouldn't be there. That's what upsets me. But here's what makes it a little different. Here's what we can, kind of differentiate this with and kind of separate from that movie-based thing. Captain Marvel and Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel will both be coming to the show. Now, honestly, I could see Kamala Khan maybe more going to Ultimate Spider-Man. Season 4, which we'll be talking about next. But bottom line, I mean, that's pretty cool. But now that you've got characters like Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Black Panther, I mean, now it gets exciting. Plus, Ultron will be the villain, which means if Ultron's going to be the main cause of the, main thing of this, plus, Ultron also is the villain kind of in Season 2, at least the second half of Season 2. I mean, now you have potential to bring on the Vision. I definitely feel like they'll be bringing on the Vision because, they just also brought on Ant-Man. I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And if they did bring on Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, we already know characters like Wolverine exist in this universe. And same with Emma Frost, I believe. So, my question is, why is there not an X-Men TV show? I mean, I get it. Marvel's trying to separate themselves from the X-Men. Why? Because they don't have the rights to the X-Men, and they're trying to screw Fox, and because Fox is actually successful. I mean, Marvel, I'm a big fan of it, but why do you have to be a big dick all the time, I'd like to see an X-Men animated show. I'm pretty sure you would, and I'm pretty sure the next person over would too. Because, I gotta be honest, we've gotten some pretty solid content from the animated X-Men series. I don't think there's been one of course there's been cheesy X-Men shows, but they were good, they were good. Even the original, from the 90s, and then Evolution, and then you had Wolverine in the X-Men. Oh my god, how good was that show? Wow. And Marvel is just gonna be like, oh, well, the movies we don't have the rights in the movies. It's too bad. Fox is successful. That's not good for us. Damn, and then we have to be like, oh, damn, and they've got to go back. Damn, and it's like they're not really thinking about the fans. They're really thinking more about, hey, we don't have the rights to them. We don't want to let Fox win, quote unquote. It's like the same freaking battle that we've seen from when we have DC, and then you've got Marvel. You've got fans of both DC and Marvel, but they're like, shoot, I gotta make a decision, because I can either I know I like both DC and Marvel, but that can't happen anymore, because, now they're making movies of both. I can't see the DC movies in theaters. I can only see the Marvel movies, or I can't see the Marvel movies in theaters anymore, because now Batman's there. I can only see the DC movies. It's the same thing. those fans are the same as these studios that just don't even really care about, what they actually like. They're just thinking, oh, okay, well, you got to just do this. We got to do this because, that's happening. So, that's going to get annoying. That gets annoying. But I seriously feel like we could see characters like Scarlet Witch and maybe Quicksilver. Maybe, but I say that's probably only going to happen if we get a really solid animated show. I mean, there's not even been like a hint of talks about it. And I don't see why. I'm pretty sure the people, at least Marvel TV, they're pretty smart, And I gotta be honest. We'll probably see an Inhumans TV show before, an Inhumans animated show before an X-Men animated show. Isn't that sad? Not that the Inhumans aren't cool, and of course I'd see an Inhumans TV show. But come on. They made a Guardians of the Galaxy TV show. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, they're really funny. I love that movie. Love it. Seriously. But, they're making an Inhumans movie. Of course we're going to see an Inhumans TV show. It's just, it's rough. It's rough. Alright, enough with that. Let's move on to a lighter topic with Ultimate Spider-Man Season 4, which will now be titled, instead of, it started off as Ultimate Spider-Man, then it went to Ultimate Spider-Man Web Warriors for Season 3, and now it will be called Ultimate Spider-Man vs. the Sinister Six. Hey, haven't we already seen this before? Spider-Man fight the Sinister Six? Well, I believe we have, but it seems this time it's going to be different. I don't know how, but Spider-Man's one of my favorite characters. He's always been one of my favorite characters. He's a lot of everyone's. He's usually one of everyone's favorite superheroes. So, of course I'm going to see everything that he's got, and I got to be honest, Ultimate Spider-Man's been very promising. They show pretty cool stuff, and they live up to it. You don't have any of the. You don't really have the, teamwork, or we've got to be friends now. I mean, they kind of have that, but not really. You've got more full-on plot the whole time. That's what I like. That's a lot of fun. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with that, especially with the villains. Gabi, Green Goblin, we've seen him for a while now. Now, I don't think he will be in this series. He could be. I'm sure he'll be in the series, but I don't know if he'll be like a main part of the Six. I think Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, will be a big villain. I think we've seen Venom, I think, before, right? Pretty sure we've seen Venom. And if we haven't seen Venom, then I'm sure we'll be seeing Venom this season, I'd say, at this point, they're just going to be using as many Spider-Man villains as possible. And I think that's what's going to be fun. I'd love to see Chameleon. I'd love to even have Daredevil come in here and fight maybe the Kingpin. Why can't they have Daredevil in there now? Daredevil's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We just got done talking about how Marvel Animation wants to kind of mimic what's going on TV. What if we even see the Defenders in this show? Maybe they bring in Jessica Jones. We already know Luke Cage and Iron Fist both exist in this world. Maybe Spider-Man's team, maybe he gets rid of White Tiger, and maybe he gets rid of Nova. Maybe Nova goes up to space with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we see something like that. But I feel like the villains are going to be the main focus of this one, at least, in my opinion. Speaking of which, I did forget to mention a few things about Avengers Assemble, which we can kind of sneak in right here. Those are some villains that will also be coming. Apparently, Baron Zemo and Enchantress will also be coming to Avengers Assemble, or Avengers Ultron Revolution. So that's going to be really cool. So we'll be seeing Masters of Evil, which that makes sense because of Civil War again. And also, there's supposedly going to be a Civil War in Avengers Ultron Revolution. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But I definitely feel like Guardians of the Galaxy will also kind of tie in with the Civil War and probably also the Spider-Man characters just in the TV show. It makes sense. They want to incorporate all those. They could have a big event thing, Civil War Part 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll see where that goes. But Ultimate Spider-Man, I think I'm excited for that. I really am. I think that's been a show that's always kind of been there. At first, I don't think anybody really knew what it would be. I thought it was going to be. I just didn't think it'd be as good. Before that, we had the Spectacular Spider-Man, which I gotta be honest was a pretty solid show. I liked that one too. I liked Wolverine and the X-Men better, but I still liked Spectacular Spider-Man. I'd like to see Black Cat. I'd like to see more Deadpool. Oh, wait, I forgot. Deadpool. He's in Fox now. He's with Fox. And Fox, jeez, it's just. Marvel is really upsetting right now, right? Very upsetting. I mean, what about the Fantastic Four? Will we ever see the Fantastic Four? It's very disappointing what Marvel's doing, how they're limiting themselves to just the characters that they have the rights to. It's just very annoying. And I guess we can kind of end off with Wolverine and the X-Men. Maybe we could talk about what we'd like to see for a future upcoming Marvel X-Men animated show. Maybe it's not even on Disney XD, maybe it's on some other network like Cartoon Network, I don't know. But let's kind of talk about that. There's so many things that work so well for Wolverine and the X-Men. A lot were the whole flashbacks, I just thought it was just a fun story overall. You had, it was a full plot from beginning to end. There wasn't anything that was like, oh, friendship and teamwork. It was all, business. And in the future, you had business. And it was fun with Charles Xavier. And I don't know, it was just, there's so many things that worked so well in that show. And I think it would be a lot of fun to maybe see him, used again, some of those same elements. Now, I don't really know if I want to see the whole the whole Sentinel storyline again. But Wolverine and the X-Men, what they did is they left off on a cliffhanger with Apocalypse being the villain, and Mr. Sinister, and Cable. And then they just ended the series, I'd love to see that story again. I mean, especially now that they're kind of doing that in the movies with X-Men Apocalypse. I mean, I'd love to see that. I feel like it would be so much fun to see Apocalypse and animated and all these other heroes and maybe even Deadpool, and then you have Gambit, then you could have X-Force, or maybe they don't even have an X-Men show, it could just be an X-Force show. There's got to be something, because those are so many great characters, and now that Hugh Jackman is leaving as Wolverine, his last movie will be the Wolverine 3, which is supposedly going to be called Wolverine. In 2017, that's going to be his last movie as Wolverine. I feel like they got to keep his presence alive somehow. Wolverine is like, everybody knows Wolverine. He's a classic. I'm sure people were almost more familiar with Wolverine than they were with Tony Stark before the Iron Man movie. I got to be honest. People think Tony Stark and Iron Man, he was this big character. I mean, he was a big Marvel character. But he wasn't as well known as somebody like Spider-Man. He's Iron Man, I don't know. Now he's very well known because of the movies and that. But my point here is, Wolverine and characters like Wolverine and, like I said, like Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Magneto, Beast. Those are some really fun characters. And I think it's just it's saddening that they can't work out some sort of deal, or Marvel can't come to their senses and do that. I mean, there could be some sort of rights restriction things where, Fox won't let Marvel put out any content with their, X-Men characters. But I believe with the whole animated stuff, all the animation, there is no, there's none of those right deals. You can't be, I don't think Fox has the rights to animated stuff. I think they just have rights to the live action stuff. And I don't know. I'm happy Marvel doesn't have the X-Men rights, I feel like Marvel would make it cheesy and kind of corny. Now, I'm not saying I don't love what Marvel does, but I think they have to tone back some of their quips and some of their one-liners that they throw in all the Avengers movies, So I feel like X-Men is better off at Fox. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Marvel, but, I just feel like everything's under Marvel's thumb. And they're just assholes to everything else that's not. And everything else is still part of Marvel. So, I don't know. It's a little bit rough in that kind of sense. But hopefully we'll be able to see some crossovers with characters like Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Because most likely we will not be getting any X-Men or Wolverine kind of animated show. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth, So we'll have to see what happens. And if we do get any more news on anything Avengers, Ultron Revolution, Ultimate Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six, Guardians of the Galaxy Season 2, or even a surprising X-Men or Wolverine animated series, I will be reporting to you guys. We've got some total drama stuff that we got to get up maybe next week. So we got some predictions. I know I never really reviewed the final episode, and we can kind of talk about that next week. it's just time kind of got away from me, and you know, I have 3 videos that I'm actually uploading today on Toys with Attitude, so it's like insane. Like I don't have a lot of time. Plus, I got other stuff I have to do outside of YouTube, so it's hard to get all that stuff up and keep up with the animation block because 10 weeks already. I mean, it was easier on week 1 because nothing was really going on, but now you've got Flash and you got Arrow and you got Heroes Reborn and Star Wars and Power Rangers, and it's like, whoa, okay, calm down for a minute. But I'm going to be trying to do the animation blocks a bit more consistent. Knox will be here next week. We're working on Spy Central also. Yes, another thing that's working out pretty well actually. So I got some. We do have some updates coming out for Spy Central also. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to click, share, like, and subscribe. And let us know in the comments your thoughts on some of Marvel's animated stuff and their big universe kind of overall goals, what they're going to be doing with X-Men and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'm your host, Ryder, and this has been the Animation Block.